Do you know what diabetes is and how it affects your body? Diabetes is a condition that arises when your blood glucose, often referred to as blood sugar, exceeds its normal level. Glucose, derived from the food we consume, is the primary energy source for our bodies. Now the pancreas, an organ that sits behind the stomach, plays a crucial role in managing glucose levels. It produces a hormone called insulin. Insulin's responsibility is to facilitate the transportation of glucose from the bloodstream into cells, where it is used for energy. However, things go awry in diabetes. Either the body doesn't produce enough insulin, or it doesn't utilize it efficiently. As a result, glucose remains in the bloodstream, leading to high blood sugar levels. Over time, elevated blood glucose levels can pose serious health risks. They can cause damage to various organs and systems in the body, including the eyes, kidneys, nerves, and heart. Moreover, the connection between diabetes and certain types of cancer has been observed. Now you might be wondering, why is it so important to know about diabetes? Here's why. More than 133 million Americans are living with diabetes or prediabetes. As of 2019, over 11% of the US population had diabetes. The majority of these cases are type 2 diabetes, which we will discuss in more detail later. It's also worth mentioning that a significant number of adults with diabetes are unaware of their condition. This lack of awareness underscores the need for education and understanding of this disease, its symptoms, and its management. By understanding diabetes, we can take steps toward prevention and management, reducing the risk of developing serious health complications. The first step toward this understanding is recognizing the different types of diabetes, including type 1, type 2, gestational diabetes, and prediabetes. Now let's delve deeper into the different types of diabetes. To understand diabetes better, it's crucial to know the different types. Let's start with type 1 diabetes. This form of diabetes is a bit of a conundrum. Why? Well, if you have type 1 diabetes, your body makes little or no insulin. Now you might be wondering, why is that? The answer lies in your immune system. For reasons not yet fully understood, if you have type 1 diabetes, your immune system launches a misguided attack. It destroys the cells in your pancreas that are responsible for making insulin. This form of diabetes is typically diagnosed in children and young adults, but it can appear at any age. It's a lifelong condition, and managing it is not about dietary changes or exercise alone. People with type 1 diabetes need to take insulin every day to stay alive. This might sound daunting, but with the right plan and support, it can be managed effectively. The symptoms of type 1 diabetes often appear suddenly and can be severe. They can include increased thirst and frequent urination, extreme hunger, unexplained weight loss, fatigue, and blurred vision. If you or someone you know is experiencing these symptoms, it's important to seek medical advice immediately. Living with type 1 diabetes is a balancing act, but with the right support and management plan, individuals with this condition can lead healthy, normal lives. It's about maintaining a balance between the insulin in your body, the food you eat, and your level of physical activity. It's about learning how to manage blood glucose levels effectively and knowing what to do if they get too high or too low. So, that's type 1 diabetes in a nutshell. It's a complex condition, but understanding it is the first step to managing it. It's about learning, adapting, and above all, persevering. Type 1 diabetes may be a lifelong condition, but it doesn't define you. Remember, you're much more than your diagnosis. Next, we'll look into the most common form of diabetes, which is type 2. Scene script. Type 2 diabetes is the most common type of diabetes, but what exactly is it? This type of diabetes is a chronic condition where your body resists the effects of insulin, a hormone that regulates the movement of sugar into your cells, or doesn't produce enough insulin to maintain a normal glucose level. In essence, your body isn't using insulin properly, also known as insulin resistance. So how does this happen? When you eat, your digestive system breaks down carbohydrates into sugars, including glucose. These sugars are then released into your bloodstream, prompting your pancreas to release insulin. Insulin acts like a key, opening up cells so they can take in the glucose and use it as an energy source. However, when you have type 2 diabetes, this process goes awry. Your cells become resistant to the action of insulin, and instead of being absorbed by your cells, glucose builds up in your bloodstream. Over time, the pancreas can't produce enough insulin to manage the higher glucose levels, and this leads to type 2 diabetes. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are several risk factors for type 2 diabetes, including being overweight or obese, having a family history of the disease, and leading a sedentary lifestyle. The good news is that many of these factors are changeable. By making healthier choices, you can help delay or even prevent the onset of type 2 diabetes. This can include losing weight or preventing weight gain, getting regular physical activity, eating a balanced, healthy diet, and limiting your intake of sugar and processed foods. It's all about taking charge of your health and making choices that support your well-being. And remember, type 2 diabetes can develop at any age. It's not limited to adults. More and more children, adolescents, and young adults are being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, underscoring the importance of healthy lifestyle habits from a young age. We've talked about type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Next, we'll discuss a type of diabetes that can occur during pregnancy. Gestational diabetes is a type of diabetes that develops during pregnancy. Let's explore more about it. This condition emerges when a woman's body cannot produce enough insulin to regulate the increased blood glucose during pregnancy. While it might sound daunting, the silver lining is that gestational diabetes usually resolves itself after the baby is born. However, it's not all smooth sailing from there. Having gestational diabetes does raise a red flag for the future. Women who've experienced it have a higher likelihood of developing type 2 diabetes later in life. It's like a heads up from your body, signaling that you might be at risk. But don't let this information scare you. Instead, take it as a cue to adopt healthier lifestyle choices post-pregnancy to keep diabetes at bay. Regular checkups and maintaining a balanced diet can go a long way in preventing the onset of type 2 diabetes. Now let's move on to prediabetes, a condition that often precedes type 2. Prediabetes is a significant health concern. Here's why. It's a condition where your blood glucose levels are higher than normal, but not high enough to be diagnosed as type 2 diabetes. It's like standing on the edge of a cliff, looking at a possible plunge into the diabetes valley. Sounds scary, right? But here's the good news. It's reversible. By making lifestyle changes such as healthier eating, regular exercise, and weight management, you can push yourself back from the cliff's edge and reduce your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. But why should you care about prediabetes? Well, it's not just about the higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Prediabetes also increases your risk of heart disease compared to those with normal glucose levels. So, it's a wake-up call, an opportunity to take control of your health before it's too late. Now let's briefly touch on some of the other less common types of diabetes. One of them is monogenic diabetes, a rare condition caused by changes in a single gene. It's not as common as type 1 or type 2, but it's important to know about it, especially if you have a family history of diabetes. Another type of diabetes can occur if you've had your pancreas removed, or if it's been damaged due to conditions like cystic fibrosis or pancreatitis. The pancreas is a vital organ that produces insulin, and without it, your body cannot regulate your blood sugar levels, leading to diabetes. Remember, knowledge is power. Understanding these different types of diabetes, including prediabetes, can help you or your loved ones take proactive steps to manage or even prevent the condition. It's about making informed choices for a healthier future. Now that we've covered the different types of diabetes, let's wrap up with some key points. Diabetes is a complex disease, and understanding it can be a step towards better health. It's a condition that affects the body's ability to use glucose, our primary energy source, effectively. The disease comes in different forms: type 1, where the body produces little to no insulin; type 2, the most common type, where the body doesn't use insulin properly; and gestational diabetes, which develops during pregnancy and usually resolves after birth. There's also prediabetes, a state of elevated blood glucose levels that could progress to type 2 diabetes if not managed well. Each type has its unique characteristics, but they all share the common risk of leading to serious health complications if not managed appropriately. Recognizing the signs, understanding the risk factors, and adopting healthier lifestyle choices can help manage and even prevent some types of this disease. Remember, knowledge is power. Understanding diabetes is the first step towards managing it effectively.